So yeah, I am Jonas Ruebke, a junior here, studying environmental science. Been a part of NLCF for about 2 years now, and what a blessing it's been. I'm just so glad to see everyone here. Definitely the most people I've seen probably in Colonial at a service, so this is like really cool. But yeah, I'm just gonna give a snapshot on how community has made such an impact on my life and my life with God. So my definition of community is a group of people who have similar beliefs, goals, interests, etc., that live in the same place. It's a group of people that you can look to for guidance, comfort, assurance, whatever you need. People you can share your life with. These past few years, I've really come to understand how important it is to have a community of people around me that are passionate about their seeking of the Lord and want others to seek God the way they do. I've been following Christ my entire life. Well, I guess following in the way that I knew he existed and that my family believed in him, and that I was meant to go to church every Sunday, but that was about the extent of it. Growing up, I definitely believed that a relationship with the Lord was very much between myself and the Lord. I didn't need to share it. There was nothing that I needed to do other than just believe in him and pray. That was it. So it is an individual relationship, but our relationships with God are meant to be shared and discussed about. I very much kept mine to myself, not intentionally, but because I was never encouraged to, or I never saw the need. I did have a community at my church, but I never felt challenged to grow in my faith. I learned many things about who God was and how we could better serve him, but I never heard or had intentional conversations about how God was moving in my life. Coming into college, COVID, of course, had a huge impact on how the community was going to work in my life. I was not really looking for a church, not that I was opposed to being a part of one. I was just so disconnected from God that I was not actively seeking one out. My first couple of months at Tech were very hard. I had no roommate, and making friends with people I did not already know was incredibly difficult, not only because of COVID, but because of my extreme introvertedness. I spent hours in my room alone doing nothing at all. I was completely disconnected from God, and I didn't know it. Luckily for me, the Lord had a plan, and I got connected to a pretty awesome church, NLCF. The first NLCF event I was a part of was in the parking lot at 1521, which is the church downtown. And I just remember being just very excited to meet people, not necessarily at the prospect of growing closer to God, but just to not feel alone. I also remember the judgments I made of everyone there. I was very judgmental back then. My preconceived notions definitely controlled me and how I interacted with people. The first guys that I sat next to, I remember, were Nate Usher and Aaron Vickers. And I just remember thinking, these guys are just way too cool for school. I'm just not cool enough for these guys. But they and everyone else were so kind and welcoming. I just felt like I was very loved. People were interested in who I was and what I liked to do. I really did feel just very loved and welcome. I hated going to the gym, and I still do. But when Nate and Aaron invited me, I just had to say yes. I felt such a part of the group so quickly, and I was excited to go closer to all the people. I continued to seek to engage in group meetings and Maroon Fam hangs for the connections I was able to form with the people. However, as I continued to grow closer and closer to the people, I began to realize my connection to God was also growing stronger. Seeing how the Lord was moving in the lives of the people around me made me think more about how the Lord might be moving in my own life. I learned quite a bit about who God is and how other people were experiencing his love, grace, and mercy. My friends were able to hold me accountable to the goals that I had, devotional, prayer, meeting new people, and then celebrate when I accomplished said goals. Now that I was held accountable to seeking the Lord every day, God's presence became much more evident and in spaces that I did not see before. I started to see God more in the people around me, and that God is moving in his kingdom even when it is difficult to see. Being in a community of people that want to know the Lord, but that also want to know me and what's going on in my relationship with God has been life-changing. I've realized so many of the ways that God moves in our kingdom and how I can better be a steward of said kingdom. I know that God wants to be in a relationship with one another. God wants us to be in a relationship with one another in the kingdom that he created, celebrating, assuring, and encouraging one another in our relationship with him. I have been built up by you guys for that, and I am so very thankful. Thank you very much. That is my snapshot.